Hi everybody, this is Dale. Welcome to Not Too Shabby Chic. This is my channel. And I want to invite you to another and final episode, I believe, of this extensive series that I've had of hashtag thrifted treasures or hashtag thrifty finds from the 1 yard sale I went to. So this is an open collab. Anybody can join. You just have to use the hashtag thrifted treasures or hashtag thrifty finds and link my channel. And we all like to see what people haul and what you might do with those things that you get. So feel free to join in anytime, any day. So today I have the final little bit of paper. So let's see what we have today. I have a letter, 1949. This is someone who was awarded a $1,000 prize in an essay contest, sponsored by Black Diamond Western Magazine. And they're talking about this. Canceled stamps. They want canceled stamps from your old mail. These stamps will be sent at any time to organizations which benefit disabled veterans and tubercular patients. P.S. Mom, Norfolk. After reading above, will you remail this to Paul at the seashore where he is employed? Isn't it thrilling? So he goes on talking about he's going to be in a magazine because of a prize he won. So that's pretty cool. And the canceled stamps, I don't know how that benefits them, but it does. So this is very cool. Awesome. And this little picture was in the bottom of the box. Isn't he a handsome fella? Let's see if we can... Sorry for the shadows. That's pretty cool. 1947. Here's a letter dated 1947. Maybe that goes with this. Dear son, guess you think I've forgotten all about you, but I haven't. Just been a little busy and also a little lazy, I'll admit. I'm sending you the addresses you asked for and some mail which I received last week. I can't find the Social Security card. I am sure I gave it to you one day when I was looking through my strong box for your discharge. I know you lost the one you had, but I'm sure if you look good in your billfold, you will find it, the last one. It is just 9 o'clock and Dad has been in bed for an hour. He is all pooped out tonight. We had a big day yesterday. Sis and Ken took us to Beverly Beach, and then in the evening we all went over to the Shabby movie to see the late Mr. Apley. We all enjoyed the show very much. Also the trip to the beach, although the weather was unsettled until late in the afternoon. Dad got a pretty bad case of sunburn. I think that what has him feeling pretty bad. We are needing a good rain up here. Now it hasn't rained in 2 weeks except just enough to swear by. Just a lot of that old cloudy, sticky weather as usual. Am sending you blue dungarees as you asked for. If there is anything else you need, let me know and I'll send it. Jack, I got the card from Michelson's about 2 weeks ago. What should I do about it? I don't have the money right now to get them. The leg came off the slipper chair again. So I called the man up, and he is coming to get it in the morning to fix, free of charge, I hope. I wanted to cut the grass today, but thought I had better wait till it rains. It is as hot as can be tonight, has been all day. I have a lot of work to do in the yard as soon as it does rain. I want to get something if I can get some out to take me around to Lyons Market. Want some for the back bed and for the tulip bed on the side. I cleaned that all out last week and it looks empty now. Jack, all your snapdragons are yellow. They are blooming now, but I was disappointed in them. Well, son, I guess this is about all the news for this time. I want to read a little book, but before I turn in, I'm reading The Foxes of Harrow and See Here, Private Hargrove. Also been doing some sewing. Made a dress last week. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. Aunt Gertie honored us with a visit last week one evening. The world must be getting better. Let us hear from you and keep well and get enough rest. Love, Mom and Dad. Wasn't that sweet? I don't know if that's him or not. I'm going to keep those together same year. So we have, what else have we got? U.S. Air Force. Merry Christmas, Mother. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year. I'm going to get a big dinner tomorrow at Mess Hall. I got a 12-hour pass today, but I didn't go to town. I stay on the base and went to the movies. A couple of the boys have got back dead drunk. I had a couple of pictures taken, but won't get them until Tuesday. I couldn't get a printing job, but I got the next best thing. I got the cook's job. I was told that I would get my training at 8 Fort Sam Houston, Texas, on Maryland. I will get 8 weeks of training before I will get home. I sent my clothes the other day along with 2 records. One is for you, the other is a boy and myself carrying on, and thanks a lot for the watch. I didn't tell you about it just to get another one. Oh, about King off, I will send you the $5 just as soon as I get paid. Fielddale Hardware sent me a letter saying everything was okay. He also sent me a name of a boy to look up. I got a letter from Delonis and Corain and you all in one day. You said you loved me, and Cornelia said the same thing. As you know, I am not a good letter writer, so I had better sign off. Tell everyone that I wish them all a Merry Christmas. So until I can get another chance to write, I still love both you and Eddie. Good night, Maynard. Well, he's in the service, Air Force, but he didn't put a date on his letter. Hotel de Soto. This is 1951. Come on, people, quit putting price tags on valuable letters. Airmail. And this is from Denver, Colorado. Isn't that pretty on the envelope? And the hotel, written on the hotel stationery. Hello, Mother. How are you doing? Fine, I hope. How do you like my paper? He got the weekend off. I think this is still from, let me see if this is from Maynard. Yes, he got the weekend off and went to Denver. That's pretty cool. This is 1951. Another letter from Maynard. That'll be sweet to read and see how Maynard's doing in the 1950s. Let's see if I can get this envelope open and put this back in. So I think that's what all of these are for. Private William Fulcher, 1951. Maybe his nickname is Maynard. Yep. Hi, Mom. Oh, I mean Mother. This is your little boy, and you see I am little, writing you again. I'll have to read all of these because this is sweet. The mom saved her son's letters, who is in the Air Force. And that was from Maynard. So these are all from the same person, 1951. So this will be fun to read. 1943. Corporal Paul A. Norfolk, that's his last name. Office of the Chaplain. Let's see what this is. Baptist Service Centers of Texas. 1943, Christmas Day. Dear Paul, if your furlough has terminated, I am sure that you had a good time. I really am glad that you were able to be with your parents and other members of your family at this time of the year especially. Last night, Morris Tierman and I came to town. He and I have been palling up of late. First, we had something. After that, we returned to the Baptist Center where we met a boy and a girl and went out to the girl's home for a while. I talked in Cockney to the girl because she gained the misconception that I am British, and I did not want to go into details about my nationality on Christmas Eve. When we got to the girl's home, I told her that when we got inside her home, I would talk or try to imitate a Southerner in front of her mother, because I had tried to pick up this American jargon, and that I wanted to see if her mother would think that I am an American. Morris and I located a room, or rather had one located for us, so we stayed in town again last night. Oh yes, after the visit to the girl's home, Morris and I went Christmas Eve night to the home of Mr. and Mrs. Brown, where we spent the night. She had invited about 6 soldiers to stay there that night, so there was a bed at every turn. Most of the rooms had 2 in them. Yesterday morning, we got up and went to the home of Reverend and Mrs. Turner for dinner and had a grand meal. In the afternoon, we returned to the Baptist Center for a few hours and for refreshments. The last night, we went to a movie and came back to the center, where I began this letter and where Miss Brown made the telephone call to the home where we stayed last night. This morning, we got up, had breakfast at one of the cafes, and then went to the Baptist church. There was a different organist for the service, and he or she really played the organ well. Just what the afternoon and night hold in store for Morris and me, I am unable to say. I hardly knew Morris at Robinson, along with Bill Frankenhauser, but I have learned them quite well along with others since coming to this camp. This weekend has been ideal, and Christmas has been as nice as one away from home could be. The people here in Tyler are very friendly and have shown us every courtesy. After such a delightful vacation for just a few days, it will be hard to go back to camp and resume Army life. One boy in our office and I have contemplated getting a room in town and not having to endure the hardships that only a barrack can offer. But such a thought is only in the embryonic stage and may not develop. I must stop at the present. Hope that you had a nice Christmas and that 1944 will be the best year that you have had. Please know that your letters always are welcome. Sincerely, Piedmont. That's sweet. Piedmont. Now that's a name. And I believe this would be more from Piedmont because it looks to be, oh, there's pictures. Oh, let's see. I won't read the letter to you because you might get weary of me doing so. Excuse me. Look, here's a picture of Piedmont. Isn't that awesome? He's handsome. It's on a postcard. Isn't that sweet? 1944. Aw, that's awesome. I wish all letters had a picture of the author so that we'd know what who we're reading about. This is Prayer delivered in Red Rock, Mississippi. Well, $1944. That's from Joseph to Paul. It's got a poem and a letter. I'm not going to read the poem. This is back and forth with Paul and somebody. Here's another letter. These are between Paul Norfolk and WJ, which is Maynard, I believe. Paul, it's 1946. That's 1946. 1946 to Maryland from Piedmont, Alabama. I wonder if his name's not Piedmont. Well, it was. It was written on that picture, wasn't it? You think he was from Piedmont, Alabama, and his parents named him Piedmont? I don't know. Paul from Joe. Good night, sweet Prince. Shakespeare. That's a strange salutation. Read that later. Got a lot of these letters I'm interested to read. This is more from Joe and Paul. Same year, 1946. This is a card. I love old card. Christmas joy to you. Isn't that pretty? Oh, they didn't sign it. Sometimes, and I found a couple like this where they just mailed a card. They didn't sign it, maybe so they could recycle. I don't know. That's pretty interesting. Keep that one separate, I think. This is a letter back and forth, Paul and Joe. 1947 to Paul from Piedmont, Alabama. So I'm sure that's from good old Joe. Yep. It's another one. These cool stamps. 1947. Making sure I don't see pictures or anything cool in there. So this whole set, this is 1949, are Paul and Joe. Let's see what's in this one. 1949. Homecoming, November 3rd, 1949, Jacksonville State College. Bibb Graves Hall. Sorry for the shadow, my friends. That's the program. Crowning of Miss Homecoming. Announcement of winner of dormitory display contest. And then he wrote a little, just thought that you might enjoy looking at the homecoming program of my alma mater, the President's new home and the International House for Foreign Students are beautiful. Nothing new has happened except that Aunt Polly and Uncle Leon bought a new Packard. Kennedy bought one also. I had dinner with Aunt Polly and Uncle Leon Thanksgiving Day, and we had a grand time eating turkey. Dee came home from school for the occasion. Hope you and your folks are well. Shall write more later. Joe Wilson. Oh, that was nice. They were buddies. They wrote each other a lot, and I think a lot of people back then did that, unlike today. It's another one, 1950. I mean, they stayed buddies for a long time. This is from Uncle R and Aunt Louie. It's a postcard, and then there's a letter. Paul and Joe back and forth. Another USA is all that says. 1948, Wyattsville, Maryland. Well, this is from France. Let's see who this is from. Okay. Mon cher Paul, it was great pleasure for me to receive your Christmas greetings. You have not changed, my dear something, and I love to read your something, this funny something of French and American, mixture of French and American, and I should say that this something is quite a success as I am engaged. You can guess that my mood is quite good. Indeed, I have chosen not only a Mr. I think it's either Ms. or Mr. Right, as you say, but the best, and I am terribly fond of him, Mr. Right. I am afraid that I am going to tell you much about him, but you must excuse me, for you know that a girl in love is more or less stupid. Generally, all amores are. I guess that's what that said. Did I tell you that he is Swiss? But I'm not so good. I'll not go and live in Switzerland, for he says I am too much a Parisian to be taken away from this town. Oh, that's sweet. Just a little bit about that. And that's 1948 from a Parisian. How fun is that? So Paul knew lots of people. Look at that envelope. Old pair of stamps. This is Paul, to Paul. This is 1945. I think this is from the same French friend. Possibly. Let's see. Beautiful handwriting. Mon chéri. Mon cher ami. I think, oh, this is written in French. Isn't that wonderful? I have no idea what it says, but it's from Marcel. Monsieur Grandchamp Emily. That is cool. I don't know why, but the French is it's pretty in writing as well as hearing it spoken. I've always thought it was a beautiful language. Never learned another language, but that one is beautiful. This one is Par Avion from France again. And the letter is in blue, so I think that's the same girl writing him. He became friends with. So I've got several French letters. This is typewritten. Let's see what this looks like. Well, written in French or typed in French. fun. So that is cool. Another one from France. Really thin envelope and paper. This is from Paris. Probably the same girl. I'm not going to try and read that because I can't read French. But isn't that an interesting envelope? It's got the tissue paper in dark brown. Nice. Here's another letter in French. Woo! Got me some French, folks. French mail, 1948. Here's a, let's see what this is. We might have a picture. Oh, it's Jesus. Mary Mansky died June 8th, 1948. Oh, it's a memorial card. The family of Mary Seminsky Mansky acknowledges with grateful appreciation your kind expression of sympathy. I wonder if it was a young person or an old person. I don't know. Goshen, New Jersey, to Paul in 1947. 1949. That's just a letter. And this is from New Jersey. How You Teach, care of Frank Coburn, to Paul. G.R. Martin to Paul. The typewritten letter. Corporal Brown to Corporal Paul. So he went from a private to a corporal. That's 1944. Let's see what this is. So he must have been a chaplain, Paul. That's pretty cool. Company B. Ralph Brown. So the military, our service fellas, didn't have to pay postage. And that's the way it should be now. I think free in the United States. This is 1949. It got postmarked in Detroit, Michigan to Paul. It looks like he stayed his whole time in Hyattsville, Maryland. This is from Mrs. somebody. Yeah, somebody. What's her nose? It's a letter. 1948. Someone different. Oh, let's see what this is. Dear Paul, enclosed is a notice of a play that is coming here to Baltimore. Jack and Jane planning to go see it on November 19th and thought you might like to join us. Charles Boyer, the popular motion picture actor, will make his first appearance on the American stage at Forge during the week of November 15th. He will be the star of a new drama by Jean-Paul Sartre called Red Gloves, which is being produced by Jean Dalrymple and Jed Harris, with Mr. Harris directing. Fun. That's a letter to a friend. had lots of friends. This is from Jenny Strait, 1947. This is to Jack Norfolk instead of Paul. Let's see. Oh, got a picture. Hello, Jack. I'm sending the pictures I took of you boys Sunday. The blonde was there in the drugstore after you had gone up to your room. If you know or see him, please give it to him. Edna is going to send Tom a set of them. Aw, that's what they looked like. That must have been where they stayed, I guess, or something. Or I'm not sure what that's a picture of. Isn't that neat? Pictures of people. I love that. I know I'm taking too long. I don't know how long. I didn't look to see how long I've been filming. So I apologize. I'll try to speed it up, my friends. Another for Paul. This was 1943. Typewritten. This is Private Norfolk, 1943. So sometime he went from private in 1943 to corporal. He was in Arkansas here, and then at some point, maybe when he got corporal, he got, oh, look at that pretty handwriting. He got transferred to Hyattsville, Maryland. Beautiful handwriting. They call him Jack and Paul, so apparently they called him Jack and his name was Paul. That's what I just figured out by this letter. Here's another to Private Paul, local U.S. Army. Majestic Hotel, Paris, France. All right, here we got another picture. Let's see. Dear Paul, well, they called him both. 1945. I suppose you think by this time that I've fallen by the wayside, but not so. I would have dropped you a line before this, but I have been waiting for the pictures to come back. I sent the negatives home that I had developed in Nice, and the remaining roll I sent into the photographic division of the U.S. Army, and yesterday they came back, and I begged to report a slight failure on someone's part, probably mine, but the only one that came out that you and I took was the one of myself. So I'm flattering myself enough to think you'd want to have one of me in enclosing it. The negatives that I sent home will be back in printed form before many weeks. Then I'll send you a couple prints of each. Comprende? So much for that. I suppose you made it back to Paris all right from where I left you. On second thought, though, I left you in Paris, didn't I? I was into Paris a couple of weeks ago and thought of looking you up, but it was Sunday and I figured you'd be out carousing around somewhere, so I skipped it. You remember my telling you about the little Jewish DP we had with us? Well, I had him with me, so took him around and showed him the points of interest. He had never been in Paris before. Being a devoted married man, I didn't have much else to do anyway. So there he is. It's a little, not real super clear picture. And I'm not sure what that's of, but it's interesting. This was Jack Adams. Hi, Jack. Then we have Navy Department, Paul Norfolk. And this was 1947. Let's see what's going on. According to our records of this bureau, you are now on a leave without pay status. On 24th of June, 1947, your resignation will become effective unless you apply for an extension of this leave without pay. It is the policy of the Navy Department to permit veterans to take advantage of educational privileges under the GI Bill of Rights as amended, provided the veteran intends to return to the Navy Department, and provided also that the veteran will be better qualified to perform the duties he left or the duties of a higher position. The maximum of leave without pay, which may be granted at one time, is 1 year. However, the Bureau will be happy to extend you another year of leave without pay until June 24th, 1948, with the understanding that you submit to the Bureau your resignation effective at the expiration of this period. A resignation blank for this purpose is enclosed for your convenience. So he took off without pay, and there's a blank form. Notice of resignation. I wonder what happened. I don't know. It seems like I saw one of these letters from 1948 that he was still in. So, that's 46. Now I'm curious. 47. Yeah. See, in 1948, it's Mr. Paul Norfolk. So he got out of the service. Yep. He did. I wonder why. His tour ended, or he took a leave without pay. 1943, he was Corporal Norfolk. Corporal Norfolk in 1943. Another 1943 letter. Another letter from a friend. And another letter. Mrs. Paul Norfolk. I think that's what that says. So he got married. This is 1947. Let's check this out and see what's going on. Nope. Sorry, guys. I got so into these letters that I've just lost track of you being here. Dear son. Oh, it was his mother. So blooming hot here that I don't feel like doing anything but loafing. Well, there you go. That's how I felt this summer. So those are all for Mr. Norfolk. Now, what are these? Last but not least, let's see if I can roll this tape string off and seem to tie everything with. Some more letters. This is Dear Mother, it was so good to hear from you your last letter that, and then I've lost track of trying to find the year. It's just December 2nd. But the handwriting, this looks early 1900s to me. Or late 1800s, the way the handwriting looks. I don't see another date. That's the way that seems to me. There's another. December 30th, 1900. There you go, Lexington, Kentucky. Told you I thought it was early 1900s or 1800s, and I was right based on the way the handwriting is. Kentucky and Christian Women's Board of Missions, Dear Mother. So this is from her daughter, or a man that worked there, because it's just signed with initials. can try to read those later. These are all 1901 from the same person to their mother. 1901. 1901. Beautiful handwriting. Yeah, all from the same child, who was an adult, but a child nonetheless, to the mother. Let's see what this is. Third National Bank, 1901. Closed a check. Something, something. I don't know what that was. I think these are all to the same person from various folks. And this is like parchment paper or tracing paper. It's kind of what it feels like. 1901. Dear this is from a female, but I don't know. Mama. That's what it says. Still writing her mama. She called her mother in 1900 and then changed it to mama. Wonder why, unless it was a different child. So that's what those are. William Wilson, Withers, and that's a group of stuff I read yesterday. 1901, this receipt. Mrs. Withers had quite a bit of money, from what I can tell. Oh, look at that cool receipt. General merchandise, orange boxes, hauling and gathering oranges, packing oranges, 5 pounds of nails. Ms. Martha Withers. This is 1901. This is her receipt for payment. Cotton floss, dresser scarf, pillowcase. Can't read what the other one was. That's awesome. The Leader, Mrs. Withers, 1900. Oh, and the stamp's kind of crinkly. Let's see what this is. This is another receipt. Leader Printing Company. You got it every day. 1900 Daily Leader. $3. It's for her payment for her subscription to the magazine. This is another receipt for stuff. A record maker. I guess that's like a poem or something. American Christian Missionary Society. That's cool. In 1900. Tells how many people. And then on the back, there's some type of a little story. This is 1902. these are 1902, but different letters. Let's see what we've got here. Ledger pages. Wow. 1901. That's an accounting here. Isn't that cool? Receipts to April 1902. Woohoo! And I bet this describes it. Look at that beautiful handwriting, 1902. Your letter enclosing me check for $25, the balance of my salary, is at hand. Thanks. I enclose you a somewhat condensed statement of your finances since I took charge, and I hope it will be plain to you. So he's telling her about her finances and sent this to her. That is really cool. Ledger pages. And here's another. R.L. Baker. And if you guys are getting bored, please feel free, fast forward, and I know that you will. This is from the City of Fayette County Court. Oh, she conveyed to the Kentucky University a house and lot in Woodward Heights, commonly known as 16 Park Place. And they paid her $300 per annum, per year, from 1902, and pays $300 to her in equal semi-annually installments, to wit, $150. Okay, so it's a total of $300 a year of each year, so long as she shall live, and for and in consideration above set out said university. So the university will pay her $300 a year as long as she's alive. And then it is agreed and understood that these 3 scholarships shall be known as the William T. Withers Memorial, or as the William T. Withers Scholarship. So she also gave money for scholarships, for 3 scholarships. Wasn't that awesome? I told you she has some money, honey. So that is interesting. She was a philanthropist for sure. 1900, Mrs. Withers. See what she's doing now. Real estate and insurance broker. Draft and duplicate receipts, which please sign where I have marked. Return to me. That's what both of these are for different. This is December. Both are December. So there's duplicate receipts. I don't see the receipt part, but in any case, that's what that's about. Beautiful handwriting. I wish we still, when I was young, learned to write like that. It's gorgeous handwriting. 1901, attorney at law. Mr. Harrison turned over to me your business, and I write to say that we both agreed that it was not only proper but necessary that I should transfer your bank account to some bank in Paris. I have selected the bank of George Alexander and Company. You have here today, to your credit, $548.96. I paid for you the day I was in Lexington, your East Main Street, Brick Street tax for this year amounting to $58.10, and he's giving her an accounting. Is what that's about. And here are Dear sir, the taxes on the property on which I pay for you for the year 1899 are as follows. Aw. Harrison and Withers and Brooker, an Orange Grove company. I remember seeing papers from those. Maybe all of this kind of goes together, I believe. Look, here's the receipt. 1900. Taxes for 1899. Let's pull this up just a hair. Very neat. Oh, I lost my place. There we go. And this a receipt from 1898 for taxes. I think that's a different person. Tax sale certificate. And this is Martha Withers. That one receipt had a different name. So we'll keep all that together. Town of Ocoee, South Apopka, Land and Improvement Company. Oh, isn't this neat? This is like a little brochure for the town of Ocoee. Isn't that, have I been out of frame? Isn't that fun? And this is a letter from the American Christian Missionary Society. Looks like 1899. Oh, yeah, 1899. And then what are all of these? Don't like these strings. I could just cut them off, couldn't I? I know it groups things together, but it also tears up stuff. So, oh, duh, just comes right apart. Okay, I think all this probably went in here. Some old tax receipts for the catch-all portfolio. So let's see what we've got. Tax assessments. So that's what I think all of this is. Taxes. All kinds of stuff falling out of this one. The Brook Orange Company. Yeah, that's cool. She had all kinds of interesting things going on. Dear sir, I will not attempt to make a full report at this time as to the title to the Withers property, but there are several matters I wish you to look up and advise me upon as soon as convenient. 1894. These are 1800s letters from Mrs. Withers. Look at that. 1894. I just love the handwriting, don't y'all? Wouldn't this be beautiful for... I'm going to scan these, or some of them, because the handwriting alone would be beautiful for backgrounds, for pages, for collages. $18.94. It's like a postcard. I thought it was an envelope. And here's the State Bank of $100. That was a lot of money in the 1800s. go. More kind of accounting papers and such. Isn't this awesome? This wonderful handwriting. This one's a little different. Isn't that beautiful? 1898. These are all about properties and such. So, the Merchant's Bank. Oh, those are cool. Those are checks. Blank checks. Wow. I can write checks for whatever I want. This looks like a description of some property. And they wrote it on the back of checks. This closed circular will show why I am managing the affairs of the late firm of Garrett and Newell. So he took over, I guess, in 1898 because it was dissolved by the removal of Mr. Garrett to Massachusetts. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, look at these. These are drawings, abstracts, some property, I imagine. That's what that looks. I can't ever fold something back the way it's supposed to go. There we go. Maybe. This feels kind of like onion skin here. Wow, look at that. That's so cool. It's dirty and beautiful. Who knew dirt could be so pretty? And this is talking about some heirs, 1888. And just a receipt of sorts. So anyway, I know this probably was a little boring, and I apologize, but I got really into reading some of these. This is amazing, don't you think so? These 1800s things are really fascinating to me because they've held up so long, and the difference in the handwriting from the 1800s to the 1940s even, if you see the difference. Just much more beautiful. So, thank you everyone for entertaining me and listening and watching if you did, and if you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much, and let me know in the comments if you actually made it to the end. And thank you again. Know that you are loved. God loves you so very much, and so do I. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.